Welcome, boys and girls, to another Fast and Furious Gamers Inquiry review. Today, we are going to be reviewing a game starring everybody's favorite spiky-haired hedgehog, the blue blur himself, Sonic. Yes, Sonic the Hedgehog has once again raced into consoles everywhere last month with the release of Sonic Frontiers. The game marks the first iteration of the lightning-fast hedgehog in an open-world setting, one similar to Zelda, Breath of the Wild, or Super Mario Odyssey. But while those Nintendo games have had a somewhat consistent outing in the last few decades, Sonic games seem to be finding it hard to catch lightning in a bottle and reignite the success of its glory years. However, Sonic Frontiers has had quite the rousing reception since its release, despite some naysayers predicting it would be a bigger disaster than Sonic Boom. Though it has received mostly mixed reviews, fans and critics alike still laud the game for its bold new approach to Sonic's speedy platforming and gameplay. Has Sonic finally been able to outrun its past failures, or is Sonic Frontiers yet another forgettable Sonic title? Find out today as I give you my brutally honest review on Sonic Frontiers. Alright, let's talk about the story. The plot of Sonic Frontiers is simple. Well, sort of. While traveling the Starfall Islands to investigate the appearance of Chaos Emeralds, Sonic's friends Amy, Tails, and Knuckles are trapped in cyberspace, along with Dr. Eggman and Sage, the AI he created. It's now up to Sonic to discover the secret of Starfall Islands, locate the Chaos Emeralds, and free his friends from the cyberverse. The story of Sonic Frontiers is a bit of a departure from the cutesy anime-styled narratives of previous Sonic titles. It perfectly reflects the fact that Sonic Frontiers is a much different game from what we're used to, and I'm okay with that. With a look that's quite different from Sonic's usual cast of furry anthropomorphic pals, a demeanor similar to that of Raven from the Teen Titans series, and the dialogue pattern of Master Yoda, her introduction is sure to be a bit divisive for some Sonic fanatics. While some hardcore fans of the Blue Speedster may feel the story and tone of the game is too un-Sonic-like, whatever that means, I, for one, feel it's a refreshing step. One that's appropriate for Sonic's brave new adventure into a vast and unpredictable open world. Alright, now the gameplay. Frontiers feature the most robust and diverse forms of gameplay known to any Sonic game. You play as Sonic, and your ultimate goal is to collect all the Chaos Emeralds and free your friends. This will require you to explore the 5 distinct Starfall Islands, including collecting rings, memory tokens, vault keys, etc., and fighting through a myriad of quirky robotic enemy types, guardians, and main bosses known as the Titan. Speed is one of the most important aspects of any Sonic game, and Sonic Frontier is no different. Utilizing the plethora of grind rails, ramps, and boosters on every island, Sonic can zip around the world faster than the speed of sound. This also allows you to take part in map challenges, which are side quests that players have to complete to display all the important locations on each island. Some of these important locations are portals that you need to unlock with portal gears to access the cyberspace. That's just a fancy name for Sonic Frontiers arcade mode, where you can play and platform through fun 2D and side-scrolling levels similar to the golden age of Sonic games. Speeding through iconic areas like Green Hill Zone made me pine for the good old days when Sonic was still rubbing shoulders with Mario and the Sega Genesis gave the SNES a run for its money. That era was undoubtedly the best for Sonic games, at least to me. That was until Sonic Labyrinth came out, then it was all kind of downhill from there. Besides all that, there's also a buttload of collectibles to find, including memory tokens, vault keys, treasure tokens, red and blue seeds, the whole enchilada. You may feel like all this might be a bit much, that's because it actually is. Sonic Frontiers tries its best to pander to every single demographic. There are puzzles, platforming, arcade mode, combat, 2D, 3D, side-scrolling, and even fishing. It feels like they focus so much on creating a game that presents a wide variety of activities that they didn't even focus on making any of those activities very good. I mean, it's not nonsensical busy work like Shenmue 3, another Sega masterpiece, but it does get quite repetitive after a while. I, for one, wish we got to see more Sonic characters in the game, like Shadow, Silver, and maybe even Metal Sonic. Another great idea would be to play as some of the other members of Team Sonic, like Tails and Amy. Don't get me wrong, fishing with Big the Cat is great, but the overall lack of interactable or playable characters through my playthrough had a negative way of making the vast open world feel quite cold and lonely. Okay, combat. Combat in Sonic Frontiers was a little janky, but okay, and by okay I mean dull and repetitive. Despite being able to literally run rings around enemies with his side-loop skill and having a plethora of other nifty, upgradable combat skills at his disposal, the game's combat ultimately boils down to simple button mashing. Most of the enemy robots you encounter on Starfall Island seem to serve one single purpose, and that's to give the player a break from running and platforming. Eventually, I found myself adopting a one-size-fits-all approach to every enemy encounter. The same cannot be said, however, for the boss battles. Going Super Saiyan, Super Sonic, and taking down robots so big they were basically skyscrapers with legs was undoubtedly the high point of Sonic Frontiers combat. Each Titan is distinct, and I extremely enjoyed taking them down with moves so anime-esque and engaging. It looked like something straight from Platinum Games. But do the boss battles make up for the overall lackluster combat of Sonic Frontiers? I'll leave you to decide. Graphics and performance. The graphics of Sonic Frontiers is another area where the game shines. Each of the game's zones is distinct and simply gorgeous to look at. From the lush, greeny terrain of Kronos Island to the scalding, arid desert scape of Ares Island, each zone offers up an impressive visual spectacle to behold. Kronos Island was definitely my favorite though. Its verdant mountains made me reminisce about Death Stranding, thankfully without the painfully slow hiking. Be that as it may, the game does suffer from a few notable performance issues. One example of this is the constant pop-ins I experienced during my playthrough. There's nothing like having a few platforms teleport into frame while sprinting at 186,000 miles per second to ruin the immersion. All right, next is replayability. All right, I'm gonna be honest here. Truly, I'm gonna be honest. I think Sonic Frontiers, unless you're a huge Sonic fan, deserves little replayability. You know, the kind of fan that sleeps in his Sonic the Hedgehog pajamas every night, this game's for you. Though parts of the campaign are fun to play and I did enjoy the arcade mode, I can't imagine why, after 40 hours of playthrough, I would still decide to play the game again. That's unless I'm super bored, and considering the fact that I have literally hundreds of new and even more incredible games to play every month, I can't really see that happening. In conclusion, Sonic Frontiers was certainly a step in the right direction. Its intriguing storyline, platforming, and boss battles were fun to play through, especially for OG gamers like me. But its overall lack of innovation in terms of content, characters, and combat makes it a mediocre game in an industry bursting full of outstanding titles. It feels like the kind of game you would play for a while and then promise yourself to come back to it, but you never really do. Therefore, I'm going to give this game 2 stars. It's not the second win that the Blue Speedster needed, but it certainly was a step in the right direction. And I, for one, am looking forward to the next installment, building on what we know of this game. Do you agree or disagree with my review? Let me know what you think in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell to get regular updates on new videos. We make awesome content like this every single week. Thanks again, guys, for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.